Atheists of Reddit, what is one thing you admire about religion? Religious people of Reddit, what is one thing you admire about atheism? Religious temples, no matter the religion, are often incredibly beautiful works of art. Came here to say this. Religion has led to some of the most beautiful man-made structures throughout history. See, Renang Christian memes. I forgot how to read for a second and just clicked that link assuming it would be a subreddit about cool religious architecture. Well, it's not. Or church porn fixed it for you. I clicked this link thinking it would be something entirely different. Just sexy Flanders gifs, isn't it? As a Christian, I admire that atheists do the good things just for the sake of doing good things. There is no thought of a reward coming in the afterlife of the fear of eternal punishment for not doing them. I had another Christian say to me once, what would be point obeying the commandments if heaven and hell aren't real? Not my beliefs, but it is for many. Edit, I just joined Reddit and this was one of my first times posting. I'm not even sure how Reddit works, I'm still learning. I'm deeply honored by the gold and silver, thank you all so much. 3. I read someone the other day who said, I do rape and murder as much as I want to and how much I want to is none. If the only thing stopping you from raping and murdering is God, then there is something very wrong with you. Words to live by. Edit, several Redditors have suggested that I may be quoting Ricky Gervais or Penn Jillette. I believe that it was the latter that I heard say this. Outpouring Sweetness said, Penn Jillette said that, it's a great quote. The question I get asked by religious people all the time is, without God, what's to stop me from raping all I want? And my answer is, I do rape all I want. And the amount I want is 0. And I do murder all I want, and the amount I want is 0. The fact that these people think that if they didn't have this person watching over them that they would go on killing, raping rampages is the most self-damning thing I can imagine. You shouldn't abstain from rape just because you think that I want you to. You shouldn't rape because rape is a ducked-up thing to do. Bo Burnham, God's Perspective. I'm atheist. I admire their sense of community. Atheist here, and I completely agree. I went with one of my friends to their all-black church when I was younger. There was a lot of emphasis on community projects discussed in their service, and we even took a break in the middle for everyone to converse with each other and catch up. I could tell this church was filled with good people. However, my grandmother's Assembly of God church was filled of a bunch of old racist people. So it definitely depends on the community. The arts resulting from religion. This is a huge one. Also, the sheer preservation that came from it. People only learned to read so they could read the Bible, and since they were the only people who could read, they were the only people who could write, and so we have them to thank for a good amount of documented history from the Middle Ages. I admire how some churches provide support for the needy with food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelter. By and large, this is awesome. The service to the most vulnerable is incredible. Some Christian charity comes with too many strings, but at the hardest end it is amazing. Right. It can be done the right way or the wrong way. In the college town I went to school, there was a pantry run out of a Lutheran church near campus that was a no questions asked service. You walk in and take what you need. However, there was also a food pantry run by a church that was the most well known in the city. They opened the doors at 2 p.m., made people sit through a church service, and then would allow them to get food. Had a Christian friend tell me about going to Mexico to build housing for the unfortunate. They would only help the ones that were of their faith. As a Christian, that pisses me off. Christ would want us to build homes for everyone. This is the same one that hung out with prostitutes and tax collectors, people reviled by the majority. Yeah, that ticks me off too. It shouldn't matter what faith they are. Jesus hung around with every kind of people, even lepers. Jesus would be pissed by so many of his people. I'm atheist and my grandma was extremely religious. My uncle, her son, died a few years ago and it about killed her. She ended up getting diagnosed with leukemia and given a slim chance to survive. She was 100% fine with it because in her mind she was going to see her son and sisters in heaven. I wish I could have that. The only time my lack of religion has bothered me is when my mom died. Suddenly I was jealous of those people who believe in an afterlife where they will see their loved ones again. I didn't have that luxury. And it was painful. I try to not think of someone being gone. Both sets of my grandparents are getting on in years, and it would not be out of the question for any of them to pass away in the next few years. I try to think of their living legacy, their descendants. They're never truly gone if they've left behind children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. If they didn't leave behind biological descendants, then there are people that they've impacted in some way at some point. I don't hope that my family gets into heaven, I hope to see their descendants succeed and be good people. I don't hope to get into heaven one day, I hope to create a positive impact with own life, and to leave a legacy that will do the same. Sorry if this is a mess, I've never tried to articulate this before, and I'm on mobile. Atheists seem to care about animals a lot. Good boys are universal. As an atheist, I admire that religion can provide a source of strength, community, and hope for people. Through religion, people find the courage and hope to continue a mundane or excessively taxing existence. People also develop lifelong friendships and support communities through church groups and other religious organizations. I believe these aspects are important to have in one's life. If religion can provide that for some people, then I think that's a great thing. Edit, thanks for the coins, you wonderful people. Whether you're religious or atheist, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I am a Christian. I admire how atheists don't judge others based on their sins. That is certainly something us Christians can do better at. Not having a holier-than-thou attitude. It's also a bit of an issue, since the Bible and pretty much all Christian teaching on the subject tells you not to be self-righteous. The whole "let he who has not sinned through the first stone" and all that. But people like to use their religion as an excuse. Atheists tend to be more honest about their hate. Humans hate, atheists say why they do it, whereas many religious folks blame it on their religion. Atheist here. I really adore seeing the community around religious groups. Support and love for one another makes me a little less pessimistic about the churches. I've found that the more humble the church, the better the community. Megachurch communities are kinda negligible, but I've been to a church that was literally a gas station in a previous life, and the community there was absolutely immense. Great people who all looked out for each other in the most positive way. That is something I think our society needs, maybe just not with the stories of floods and stuff to teach lessons. Just a place for everyone to go to and speak, sing and love each other. I'm an atheist and I go to my local dive bar for this, it's not the same though. There are a few atheist churches out there. Also I know a number of atheist, and pagan, and all other sorts, members of the Unitarian Universalist Church, which focuses on the community and good works, without any one religious message. Though the will vary depending on individual congregation. As an example, I attended a funeral wake at the in my hometown recently, and the person's chosen music for reflection was Sympathy for the Devil. Yeah, I actually went to a Unitarian church 2 Christmases ago and it was pretty cool. But I felt like I had to know someone to get in, like it would be weird if I just started showing up and sitting in. I don't know how any of these church things work, I was raised by non-religious hippies who were raised Catholic. I did this. My husband wasn't down to go, so me and my kids went. After a couple Sundays of polite hellos, there were a bunch of people going out of their way to get to know me. Even though the general congregation was mostly older folks, they welcomed us with open arms. It helped that I tried to make it to non-church gatherings like their book club, Pride Day, and potlucks. Social anxiety made it really difficult to open up to the people there, but once I took the first step, it was mostly them reaching out to me. Loved that congregation. Unfortunately, life got in the way and I stopped going. As a Christian, I admire atheists for their self-control. We twist our own laws and word, from God, too much. As a religious person, I admire atheists' ability to be able to look at all the different options so well. This is a good one. I think this is something we should strive to do, but many people don't even consider it. Honestly, as a Christian, I dove into other religions for a time and I think my faith is so much better for it. Really? The exact opposite happened for me. I immediately asked myself to justify my religion over theirs and couldn't do it. For me, it helped to explore what I started to see as the golden thread of truth that runs through many spiritual beliefs. When you start to slough away all the bullshit, things like love, kindness, respect, generosity, and compassion remain as consistent values for many, otherwise very different, groups of people. It helped me see that even though I can't necessarily put a label on my religion, I can still strive toward those ideals and maintain my own morality, which I think comes from a more important part of our humanity than any specific rule or teaching. I'm not an atheist, but I don't go to church anymore. I just don't think any specific sect or religion has really gotten it right, at least in my view. One thing that turned me away from religion was how sure of themselves they all were, the almost arrogant confidence in the truth of their beliefs above all others, when so many follow a common thread and various core themes of what it takes to be a good person at the heart of it, and then they take that confidence and use it to justify their own hate. I found that for me personally a philosophical approach to ethics suited me due to my tendency to look at the science and evidence from the compendium of human knowledge and how it applies to the facts of a matter in my self-reflections and how I approach life.